Okay, so if you're anything like, well, most of us, you're probably listening right now with a coffee already nearby, maybe even in your hand. That daily ritual, right? That moment of heat, that flavor, the caffeine kick. It's sacred for many. But what if that simple routine, the one you barely think about, could actually be transformed, turned into like an all-day performance booster?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're looking at some really accessible kitchen staples, things you
Yep.
can use to seriously upgrade your coffee. And we're specifically targeting those, nagging men's health issues that often pop up after 50, things like feeling sluggish, maybe noticing blood flow isn't what it used to be, and just that general kind of slow decline in hormonal performance.
Okay, let's jump right into that because the research we looked at from urologists, health experts,
hmm
they're pretty clear. Standard coffee, it's a temporary fix at best. But hang on, if caffeine already gets my blood pumping, why is it just a Band-Aid? What are the real root issues that a regular cup just isn't touching?
That's the key question, isn't it? Regular coffee gives you that classic spike and then the crash because it mainly just hits your central nervous system. It totally bypasses three main drivers of that age-related decline we see. Number one, dropping testosterone. Number two, blood vessels getting stiffer over time. And number three, this is critical, high blood sugar. It acts like, well, like internal sandpaper, constantly wearing things down, your quick caffeine buzz. Doesn't fix any of that. So the goal here isn't just a quick jolt of energy, it's about physiological optimization. We're talking about turning that basic fuel into premium fuel that actually addresses what's going on underneath.
Premium fuel, I like the sound of that. So, we're focusing on ingredients backed by solid, peer-reviewed research,
Very good.
targeting those core problems. T levels, vessel health, blood sugar. Let's kick off with the first pair, starting with the one for blood sugar.
Cinnamon, yeah. It's incredibly potent stuff. But, and this is important right off the bat, you need to pay attention to the type. You really want to look for Ceylon cinnamon if you can find it, sometimes called Ceylon cinnamon. The really common, cheaper cassia cinnamon, the big tubs you see everywhere. It has higher levels of coumarin. And if you're using this daily, which is the idea, that coumarin can be tough on your liver over the long haul, especially in higher doses.
Okay, Ceylon, not cassia. That's a crucial distinction if you're making this a daily habit. So, why do the sources call cinnamon the vessel protector?
Because it's basically nature's blood sugar regulator. The research is pretty consistent here. Daily cinnamon can lower fasting blood sugar by up to 29%. And this is so important because when your blood sugar is spiking and crashing all day, it's slowly damaging the tiniest, most vital blood vessels. We're talking the ones thinner than human hair, the ones absolutely essential for circulation everywhere in your body, especially where performance counts.
So, it's protecting that critical microinfrastructure from slow damage. Makes sense.
Exactly. See, high blood sugar leads to this process called glycation. Think of it like this. Too much sugar makes your blood kind of syrupy. It starts sticking to proteins and tissues, making them stiff, less flexible. Cinnamon's compounds, these polyphenols, help smooth that out. But here's where it gets even more interesting for performance. Cinnamon also has cinnamaldehyde. This compound supports vasodilation. That means it helps relax blood vessels, and it actually helps your body produce more nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide. Okay, that's the master molecule for widening blood vessels, right? The same thing medications often target. Pretty powerful to find that in your spice rack.
Absolutely. And the effect people report isn't jitters, like from too much caffeine. It's more of a balanced, steady energy, likely thanks to that stable blood sugar and better circulation working together.
Hmm.
Okay, so if cinnamon handles the blood sugar side of circulation, we need something to directly target the flexibility of the vessels themselves. And that's where unsweetened cocoa powder comes in.
Right, and again, clarification needed here. We mean real, dark, unsweetened cocoa powder, not the sugary hot chocolate mix packets. Definitely not that.
Precisely. You're after the flavonoids in cocoa, specifically compounds called epicatechin and catechin. These are the same healthy things you find in really good dark chocolate. But here you get them without all the sugar and extra fat.
And how do these flavonoids work? What's the mechanism?
They give a significant boost to your body's natural nitric oxide production. And that's crucial because, like we mentioned, NO levels can drop by around half after age 50. More NO means better, easier blood flow. Foamer flow, too. There was one study we looked at, quite impressive, showing men who had cocoa daily saw improvements in blood flow similar to what you might see with prescriptions. It showed something like a 30% improvement in flow-mediated dilation.
Hold on, 30% improvement in FMD. What exactly is flow-mediated dilation, and what does that 30% actually mean for someone listening?
Good question. FMD basically measures how well your arteries can relax and expand when blood flow increases. Imagine like an old garden hose that's gone stiff and doesn't expand easily when you turn the water on full. That's low FMD, so a 30% improvement. That means your blood vessels are becoming much more responsive, widening properly to let blood flow through freely. For you, the practical result is just much better circulation everywhere, better brain function, more sustained energy, and yeah, better performance where it counts.
Okay, that 30% figure definitely sounds more meaningful now.
And cocoa has some nice bonuses too. It's packed with magnesium, really important for testosterone production and muscle function. Plus, it contains compounds like anandamides, sometimes called the brain's bliss molecule or love chemical, and phenylethylamine, which can act sort of like a natural mood booster. So it helps the body and gets your head in the right space.
All right, section 1 done, circulation and blood sugar addressed. Let's move to section 2, focusing on hormonal balance and getting that premium fuel, starting with maca powder. This one gets called natural Viagra in Peru sometimes, right?
Yeah, that nickname. It can be really misleading, though. People hear that and think it's a quick fix, a stimulant like Viagra.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not. Maca is what's called an adaptogen. Its effects build up over time. They don't hit you instantly. It grows in these really harsh conditions high up in the Andes Mountains. That resilience seems to be why the plant itself is so packed with nutrients.
So if it's not a direct stimulant, what's it actually doing inside the body? How does it work?
Maca is pretty unique. It doesn't actually contain hormones itself. Instead, it works on your hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Think of those two glands as the master control center for your entire hormone system. Maca seems to help your body produce its own hormones more effectively by reminding that control center how to send the right signals again.
That sounds really significant because if you take external hormones, your body often dials down its own production, right? Stops sending the signals. Maca sounds like it's trying to fix the instruction manual itself.
Exactly. You're rebuilding the body's own ability to produce what it needs. And that's why it takes time. You have to be patient.
Yeah.
But we do have solid evidence. One study from 2009 showed men taking about 2.4 grams a day. That's roughly a teaspoon for 12 weeks. They reported significant, sustainable improvements in both desire and performance. Guys often say they start noticing a difference in libido and stamina within about 2 or 3 weeks.
Interesting. I saw the research mention different types of maca. If someone listening goes looking for it, what should they know?
Good point. If you're just starting out, yellow maca generally has the mildest taste. It's a good all-around choice. But if you're really focused on boosting energy and stamina specifically, black maca seems to be the most potent for that. And then there's red maca, which research often links specifically to supporting prostate health, so you can kind of choose based on your main goal.
Okay, now for the one that probably sounds the weirdest to put in coffee, coconut oil, or MCT oil. We're shifting from adaptogens to the actual building blocks for hormones.
Yeah, coconut oil or its derivative, MCT oil. I know, adding oil to coffee sounds unappealing, like an oil slick. But the trick, the absolute key, is blending it. We'll get to that. The reason we need this healthy fat is pretty straightforward. Testosterone is made from cholesterol and good fats. If you've spent years on a super low-fat diet, you might have unknowingly been starving your hormone production system of the raw materials it desperately needs.
Ah, so the coconut oil is providing that premium raw material for hormone synthesis.
Correct. And it provides medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs. These fats are special because they mostly skip the usual digestive route. They go straight to your liver and get converted into immediate energy. Coconut oil is about 60% MCTs, including things like lauric acid.
So premium fuel that's available quickly and helps build hormones.
Exactly right. There's one study showing men who consumed MCTs had something like 20% higher testosterone levels compared to guys eating other types of fats, plus better thyroid function. Anecdotally, men report really steady energy all morning long, partly because the fat actually slows down how fast you absorb the caffeine, helps prevent that awful mid-morning crash.
Okay, now you mentioned the crucial practical tip, blending. This sounds non-negotiable.
It absolutely is. You must blend it.
Yeah.
Seriously. If you just stir it in, you'll get this warm, greasy layer on top. It tastes, well, you won't do it twice. You need a blender. Even a bulba blender works great. Or a good milk frother can do it. Even shaking it vigorously in a sealed jar can work if you emulsify it properly. Also, and this is important too, start small. Like maybe half a teaspoon at first. Your gallbladder needs time to get used to processing that much concentrated fat, especially first thing in the morning. Go too big too fast, and you can have some digestive unpleasantness. Let's just say that. Patience, don't shock the system.
Understood. Blend thoroughly, start slow. Got it. Okay, let's move to our final ingredient, ginger. The sources called this rocket fuel for circulation.
Ginger is fascinating. Its benefits are kind of twofold. It contains compounds called gingerols and show-gels. These are really powerful anti-inflammatories, and yes, they definitely boost circulation. They help open up blood vessels system-wide. But the deeper mechanism, the one that's maybe more surprising, is how it seems to support testosterone production directly.
Okay, how does ginger affect T levels beyond just general circulatory health?
It seems to help protect the testicles from oxidative stress. Think about what they deal with daily. Heat exposure from sitting, tight clothing, environmental toxins. For optimal testosterone production, they need to stay about 2 to 3 degrees cooler than your core body temperature. When they get overheated or stressed by toxins, production can drop. Ginger appears to help mitigate some of that stress, keeping the production machinery running better.
Wow, that is a very specific and kind of unexpected protective effect. Is there evidence backing up the T-boost claim?
There is. A study from 2012 found a pretty significant increase, 17.7% in testosterone levels after 3 months of daily ginger supplementation. The researchers think it works partly by increasing something called luteinizing hormone, or LH.
Okay, LH, luteinizing hormone. Can you just clarify for listeners what that is?
Sure. LH is basically the messenger signal. It's sent from your pituitary gland, that master controller in your brain, down to the testicles. Specifically, it tells the Leydig cells in the testicles, hey, time to make more testosterone. So ginger seems to help make sure that signal is getting through loud and clear.
Got it. So if we're adding it to coffee, how much are we talking?
Start small here too, maybe about a quarter teaspoon of ginger powder. Or you could use a thin slice of fresh ginger. Fresh ginger often gives you more of that immediate warming circulatory feeling. The powder might be more concentrated for the longer-term benefits. But a serious warning. If you have a sensitive stomach, start with even less, like a tiny pinch. And if you happen to be on blood thinners, you absolutely need to talk to your doctor first. Ginger can have a mild blood thinning effect.
Okay, 5 really powerful, accessible ingredients. But now comes the practical part. Actually doing this. We can't turn the morning coffee routine into a 20-minute science experiment. What's the, let's call it the lazy man strategy for integrating these?
Right. Implementation is key. First, a couple of crucial warnings. More is definitely not better here. Don't overdo it. And absolutely do not use sugary versions of these things. No cinnamon sugar, no sweetened cocoa mixes. You'll completely cancel out the blood sugar benefits. And again, patience. You need to give your body at least a month, maybe longer, to adjust and really show the benefits. Sustainable change takes time. Don't expect miracles overnight.
That phased introduction plan you mentioned earlier sounds like the smartest way for someone listening to really track what works for them.
It really is the best approach, especially if you want to know what's making a difference. Highly recommended. Maybe start with just cinnamon for the first week. See how your energy feels as one more stable. Week 2, add the cocoa. Notice any changes. Week 3, maybe add the maca a few times that week. This lets your body adapt gradually, and it lets you pinpoint which ingredients give you the biggest personal boost.
But if someone's thinking, okay, that sounds good, but I just want the easiest, most effective combo to start with right now, what's the go-to starter pack?
Okay, for the simplest high-impact start, we recommend what we call the Performance Foundation Stack. It's the 3-ingredient combo: cinnamon, cocoa, and maca. Just those 3. Add them to your coffee every morning for a month. The initial cost for all 3 is really low, maybe $15 total, for potentially a really significant upside in your foundational health and performance.
And keeping track of how you feel is still vital, even with the starter combo.
Absolutely essential. We really encourage you, keep a simple log. Doesn't have to be complicated. Just rate your mood, your overall sustained energy level through the day. And maybe your physical performance or libido, whatever matters most to you. Use a simple 1 to 10 scale. The goal is sustainable improvement, right? Tracking helps you see that objectively instead of just guessing if things are getting better.
This whole deep dive really highlights the, well, incredible power hidden in just upgrading one simple daily habit, these ingredients. They're backed by modern science and often thousands of years of traditional use, and yet they're just sitting there waiting in the spice aisle.
It really is about leveraging those small, consistent daily inputs for potentially big foundational shifts in health. And that kind of leads to a final thought for you to chew on. If tiny additions of natural compounds, like a quarter teaspoon of ginger, a dash of maca, can actually signal your body's master controllers, the hypothalamus and pituitary, and support hormone production so effectively, then what other small, maybe unnoticed daily inputs might currently be working against your body? Things that could potentially be just as easily addressed or changed. Your body is capable of some amazing things. Sometimes, it just needs the right fuel, the right signal to unlock that potential.